The Navy's newest vessel arrived in Norfolk for the first time today. USNS Robert E. Simonette is commissioned. It will become the USS Robert E. Simonette. Jason Walsh takes us to today's arrival.
The Navy's newest vessel arrived in Norfolk for the first time today. USNS Robert E. Simon is commissioned. It will become the USS Robert E. Simon. Jason Walsh takes us to today's arrival. Elon Musk has never been one to shy away from bold declarations. And when he turned his attention to the newest marvel, developed by the United States Navy, the world listened with a mix of awe and intrigue. The announcement centered on a next-generation aircraft carrier, a warship so advanced in design, power, and defensive capabilities that Musk suggested it could not be stopped. The sheer weight of those words rippled across military circles, defense industries, and geopolitical discussions worldwide, as the idea of an unstoppable floating fortress conjured images of a future where naval dominance could be utterly redefined. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The foundation of this revelation lies in the continuous evolution of naval engineering. Aircraft carriers have always been the symbols of maritime supremacy, the floating airfields that allow nations to project power far beyond their shores. From the earliest carriers that sailed during World War II to the nuclear war giants of the Cold War and beyond, each era of naval innovation has pushed the boundaries of what is possible. But according to Musk, this new carrier is not just another evolutionary step. It represents a leap so profound that it reimagines what an aircraft carrier can be in both function and resilience. Much of the excitement stems from speculation about the technologies that underpin such a vessel. Musk, with his experience in aerospace and energy innovation, is well acquainted with cutting-edge systems, and his enthusiasm suggested that the Navy's new creation blends unprecedented levels of automation, energy systems, and defense mechanisms. One can envision a warship equipped with directed energy weapons, railgun systems capable of launching projectiles at hypersonic speeds, and advanced electromagnetic shielding that renders traditional missile attacks nearly obsolete. The notion of an unstoppable carrier gains traction when paired with the idea of weapons that outpace anything currently fielded by adversaries. Beyond its offensive capacity, defense forms the heart of Musk's claim. For a carrier to be unstoppable, it must neutralize every conceivable threat. Submarines lurking beneath the waves, missiles launched from thousands of miles away, and aircraft swarming overhead. Musk hinted at layered defenses that could include AI-driven targeting systems capable of detecting, tracking, and intercepting incoming threats with unmatched precision. Imagine a carrier shielded by a dome of protection. Missiles intercepted mid-flight by autonomous drones, torpedoes neutralized before they near the hull, and stealth systems that make the ship nearly invisible to radar. In such a scenario, the idea of unstoppable transforms from hyperbole into technical possibility. Equally important is the propulsion and energy system driving such a vessel. Traditional nuclear-powered carriers already generate vast amounts of energy, but the next step may involve compact fusion reactors or advanced nuclear systems that create essentially limitless onboard power. With this energy, the ship could operate railguns, lasers, and electromagnetic launch systems for aircraft without the constraints that have plagued earlier attempts at these technologies. Unlimited power translates into sustained combat readiness, ensuring the carrier can project force indefinitely without resupply, which further strengthens its claim to being unstoppable. The implications of launching aircraft from such a carrier are staggering. Electromagnetic catapults already tested in modern carriers could be refined to send next-generation aircraft into the sky with unmatched efficiency. These aircraft could be unmanned stealth drones capable of long-range strikes, reconnaissance, or even electronic warfare missions. The carrier itself becomes the command hub of a fleet not limited to its own decks, but extended through swarms of autonomous aerial, surface, and underwater vehicles. The Navy, with this platform, transforms into a multi-domain powerhouse operating seamlessly across the sea, sky, and digital battlefield. Musk's excitement about this revelation also stems from the broader strategic consequences. In an age where military competition between global powers intensifies, the creation of such a carrier would cement American naval dominance for decades. Nations spend fortunes developing anti-aerial strategies from hypersonic missiles to advanced submarine systems, but the prospect of a warship that cannot be neutralized alters the calculus entirely. It is not just a tactical asset, but a geopolitical statement. A reminder to allies and rivals alike that the United States intends to maintain unmatched control over the world's oceans. There is also the psychological weight of such a revelation. Aircraft carriers are not only military machines, but also political symbols. When one sails into a region, it sends a message louder than any speech or negotiation. To announce that this carrier is unstoppable magnifies that message tenfold. It tells the world that American innovation has produced a deterrent beyond challenge, a leviathan that can stand in the face of any modern threat. Musk, known for framing technological advancements as civilization-defining, cast this as one such moment where the boundaries of human ingenuity confront the chaos of global conflict. Speculation also swirls about the role of artificial intelligence in this design. Musk has often warned of the risks of AI while simultaneously pushing its development through his own companies. The Navy's carrier, he suggested, may rely on command systems to manage the countless variables of naval warfare. Unlike human operators, AI could process threats from all vectors simultaneously, prioritizing responses with precision beyond human capability. From automated drone squadrons to real-time battlefield analysis, the ship could essentially act as a thinking entity, adapting in milliseconds to changing conditions. This infusion of intelligence would be the key to ensuring its survivability and effectiveness in modern conflict. Beyond the battlefield, the carrier reflects the merging of civilian and military innovation. Musk's involvement, at least as an observer, signals how technologies pioneered in private industry, from reusable rockets to advanced battery systems, may find their way into naval platforms. SpaceX demonstrated the possibilities of vertical integration, rapid prototyping, and cost reduction in aerospace. And similar philosophies may now inform naval construction. A carrier built with modular systems, rapidly upgradable components, and advanced manufacturing techniques could evolve faster than traditional warships, ensuring it never becomes obsolete. The economic dimension is equally profound. Developing such a vessel would require billions in investment, but it also represents a boon to shipyards, engineers, and scientists across the nation. Every dollar spent fuels advancements, not only in military hardware, but also in industries with civilian applications. Technologies developed for electromagnetic catapults or energy storage, for example, could cascade into commercial shipping, aviation, or renewable energy. The unstoppable carrier then becomes more than a military asset. It becomes a catalyst for technological progress on a national scale. Musk's framing of the carrier as unstoppable carries cultural weight as well. In an era when public fascination with technology often blurs the line between science fiction and reality, the idea of a ship that cannot be defeated resonates with the imagination. It evokes comparisons to legendary vessels of fiction, floating fortresses brimming with power, untouchable in their might. By revealing its existence to a wider audience, Musk tapped into that cultural current, transforming a naval asset into a symbol of futuristic aspiration. From a technical perspective, one cannot overlook the challenges such a ship must have. Overcome seaworthiness, the balance between massive systems and the need for stability, the integration of next-generation weapons with traditional naval architecture. These are not trivial hurdles. The mere fact that the Navy has succeeded in building such a platform suggests breakthroughs in materials, science, automation, and systems integration. Composite hulls, radar-absorbing surfaces, and modular weapon bays may all play roles in making the vessel both durable and adaptable. The achievement itself signals an engineering triumph of monumental scale. For the sailors who will serve aboard it, Life on such a carrier may also be redefined. Automation could reduce crew requirements, shifting the balance from manpower to machine power. Living quarters might reflect a more technologically integrated environment with augmented reality systems for training, AI assistance for coordination, and advanced medical facilities powered by real-time monitoring. The ship is not just a machine of war, but a futuristic ecosystem designed for efficiency, resilience, and adaptability in every aspect of operation. The global naval landscape now faces a dramatic shift. Rivals may scramble to develop counters, but the sheer scope of the technologies involved makes replication difficult. To match such a vessel requires not only resources, but also the integration of multiple industries at the cutting edge of science and engineering. For adversaries, the challenge lies not just in creating a similar ship, but in developing entirely new doctrines of warfare to address the presence of a carrier that cannot be stopped. The ripple effect touches every navy on Earth, stands as the latest in this lineage. It embodies the fusion of human ambition and technical mastery, projecting power not only across the oceans, but also across the imagination of all who consider its implications. As the news reverberated, one truth became clear. The age of naval warfare is entering uncharted waters. With this carrier, the Navy has not simply built a bigger ship, it has created a new paradigm. The oceans, long seen as the vast chessboard of global conflict, now host a piece unlike any other vessel that shifts the entire strategy of the game. Musk's words served as a reminder that behind the steel and circuitry lies a vision of the future, one where the boundaries of what can be stopped and what cannot are redrawn by human ingenuity. The announcement that Elon Musk made about the United States Navy unveiling an aircraft carrier so advanced that it cannot be stopped set off a surge of curiosity, analysis, and imagination across the globe. While much of the focus immediately centered on the technological marvel of the vessel itself, the broader picture stretches far wider. A warship of such magnitude alters not only military considerations, but also the very fabric of geopolitics, diplomacy, global economics, and the philosophy of power projection in the modern world. To understand its full scope, one must look beyond the steel decks and weapon systems and delve into how such a creation reshapes the balance of human civilization on multiple levels. The domain to consider is the geopolitical environment that frames the arrival of this ship. Global tensions in recent decades have increasingly shifted toward the seas. Nations have vied for influence in contested waters, with shipping routes in the South China Sea, Arctic passages, and Indian Ocean trade corridors becoming flashpoints of contention. The unveiling of an unstoppable carrier places an entirely new actor into these scenarios. When a warship cannot be sunk, threatened, or neutralized by conventional means, it becomes a tool of influence, not just in combat, but in pessimide posturing. Sailing into disputed waters with such a vessel would render all opposing threats meaningless, tipping negotiations and disputes before they ever escalate to open conflict. It essentially arms diplomacy with an indomitable presence, ensuring that wherever this carrier sails, it becomes the dominant voice in any discussion. On the diplomatic stage, such a development changes the tone of alliances. Allies of the United States may view the creation of this carrier as a renewed guarantee of American military support and stability. Countries that rely on US security commitments, from NATO members in Europe to allies in the Pacific, would see the carrier as a shield that can never be broken, a reassurance that their security interests will remain protected no matter what adversaries may attempt. This could tighten bonds within alliances, encouraging smaller states to deepen their cooperation and participation. Knowing that ultimate security backstop now floats in the seas. At the same time, rivals may feel cornered by the presence of a tool they cannot counter, potentially leading them to adopt more aggressive or unconventional strategies to offset their perceived vulnerability. The ripple effect extends deeply into the economics of defense industries worldwide. Modern militaries spend staggering sums developing anti-ship systems designed specifically to neutralize aircraft carriers. Entire weapons programs from long-range cruise missiles to hypersonic glide vehicles have been conceived around the concept of overwhelming or outmaneuvering carrier defenses. The emergence of an unstoppable carrier renders much of this research obsolete. Nations may be forced to rethink defense budgets, discarding investments that are suddenly inadequate. Industries that have relied on the demand for anti-aerial weaponry may find themselves in turmoil, while new opportunities emerge in technologies aimed at countering a different form of supremacy. The economics of defense is as much about adaptation as creation, and the unstoppable carrier represents a fulcrum that could tilt the entire global defense market in a new direction. The psychological factor cannot be overstated. Warfare, strategy, and deterrence are not merely contests of machines, but also contests of perception. When an enemy believes they cannot win, they often refrain from fighting altogether. The unstoppable carrier embodies this principle on a grand scale. Adversaries, upon seeing it enter contested waters, would know that conventional attacks are futile. This may deter open war, but could simultaneously encourage opponents to pursue asymmetrical strategies, cyber warfare, sabotage, economic disruption, or space-based conflicts. Thus, the unstoppable carrier not only alters the face of naval warfare, but also redirects the vectors of conflict into other, less predictable domains. Technological spillover is another domain profoundly impacted by such a warship. Naval innovations have historically led to civilian applications that reshape industries far removed from the battlefield. Radar, GPS, and nuclear propulsion all found their origins in military needs before transforming civilian life. The technologies required to create an unstoppable carrier, advanced power generation, artificial intelligence coordination, electromagnetic defense systems, and autonomous vehicle integration are bound to migrate outward into industries like energy, transportation, and communications. Imagine commercial cargo fleets powered by scaled-down versions of the carrier's reactors, or civilian aviation adopting electromagnetic launch systems to reduce runway length and fuel consumption. The military achievement cascades into civilian progress, shaping the technological future of society. The ship also provokes questions about the philosophy of deterrence in the 21st century. During the Cold War, deterrence rested largely on the threat of mutual destruction through nuclear weapons. In the present age, where the lines of conflict include cyber domains, artificial intelligence, and space, deterrence is more complex. The unstoppable carrier represents a form of conventional deterrence so absolute that it challenges existing doctrines. It signals not only the ability to strike, but the impossibility of retaliation. This raises ethical considerations as well. How does a nation wield such power responsibly? The vessel embodies both the promise of stability and the risk of escalation, depending on how it is deployed in international contexts. From a strategic perspective, the unstoppable carrier changes naval doctrine itself. Traditional fleets rely on a layered system of escorts, destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and supply ships designed to shield carriers from attack. But if the carrier itself is impervious, the nature of the fleet can evolve. Resources once devoted to protecting the carrier could be redirected toward expanding offensive capabilities or logistical range. Fleets may become leaner, more specialized, or more aggressive in their deployment. The Navy, with such a tool, gains the flexibility to reimagine its operational strategies on a global scale.